Tonight, the stage is set at Rocket Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. The Toronto Raptors, 6-5, visit the Cleveland Cavaliers, 7-4, in a divisional clash where rest, momentum, and depth mean everything. Cleveland arrives after a road game on Wednesday, while Toronto has had a full day off, setting up the classic fresh versus fatigued narrative. For Toronto, the story begins with Scottie Barnes. Averaging 19.5 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 4.9 assists, Barnes is the engine of Toronto's two-way identity. He attacks the rim, initiates the offense, and guards multiple positions. Against a Cavaliers team whose role players may be worn down, Barnes' ability to push the pace and create off the bounce will be crucial. Next up, Brandon Ingram and Emmanuel Quickley. Ingram brings the scoring punch, while Quickley, his sharp shooting and off-ball movement, opens the floor. Added to that is Jakob Poeltl in the paint, sweet-setting duo-double potential, 12 points, 10 rebounds last outing. That trio gives Toronto strong balance, health, and cohesion. On the Cleveland side, the spotlight is on Donovan Mitchell. He was rested Wednesday to ensure freshness for this game, a strategic move by the Cavs. When Mitchell is at his best, he can dominate creation and scoring. But with stalwarts Darius Garland and Max Strus out, the burden on him and Evan Mobley, also rested, is massive. The supporting cast, Jarrett Allen and the bench, may struggle under fatigue and depleted depth. Statistically, Toronto holds an edge, higher field goal percentage, better true shooting, and elite assist rates. Cleveland counters with three-point volume and offensive rebound strength, but their shooting efficiency and bench juice are weaker. In a back-to-back scenario where depth and legs matter, the Raptors' fresher rotation could tilt the game. And today's AI pick is Raptors +7. Rest, rhythm, and cohesion beat reputation tonight. Will we cash or will we burn? On to Game 2.
Tonight, under the desert lights of the Mortgage Matchup Center, the Phoenix Suns welcome the Indiana Pacers in what looks less like a duel and more like a test of endurance. The line sits at Suns -5, total 229.5, a number that feels charitable toward an Indiana roster held together by tape, hope, and Pascal Siakam's stubborn brilliance. The Pacers limp into Phoenix at 1-10, losers of 5 straight. Their pace ranks 7th in the league, 101.4 possessions a night, but it's all hollow motion. They shoot just 40% from the field, last in the NBA, and their effective field goal rate is a brutal 46.3%. With Tyrese Halliburton sidelined by an Achilles injury, Benedict Mathurin nursing a foot problem, and Obi Toppin gone with a hamstring strain, creation has collapsed. Every possession begins and ends with Siakam, who's averaging 24.6 points, 7.6 boards, and 5.6 assists. But even his numbers feel like survival, not advantage. Across from him stand the Suns, healthy, efficient, and heating up. Devin Booker is averaging 28.4 points with 6.8 assists, the command voice in a system that just rediscovered its rhythm. Phoenix is third in the league in made threes at 16.4 per game and hits 38.5% of them. That spacing changes the geometry of the floor, forcing help rotations that Indiana's thin lineup cannot cover. Defensively, the Pacers still fight. They rebound hard and turn teams over just enough to stay within shouting distance early. But when you're shooting 50.7% true shooting to your opponent's 59.2%, the math eventually crushes you. The Suns don't need chaos to win, they just need time. Booker controls tempo, slows the game, and lets efficiency bleed the clock. Statistically, this matchup projects a 12-point margin, not 5. Indiana's fast pace will inflate the possession count, but not the scoreboard. Phoenix's balance, health, and shot-making should take command by the second quarter and never release it. And today's AI pick is Suns -5. The desert doesn't offer mercy, only margins. Will we cash or will we burn? On to Game 3.
Tonight, the Delta Center in Salt Lake City holds a strange kind of contest, not between equals, but between survivors. The Atlanta Hawks arrive at 6-5, clinging to rhythm without Trae Young, while the Utah Jazz limp home at 4-7, missing nearly every piece of their front court. The line sits at Hawks minus 1.5, total 233.5, a number caught between fatigue and collapse. Atlanta's problem is simple: exhaustion. This is their third game in 4 nights, the back half of a brutal West Coast back-to-back after Sacramento. Yet this team has reinvented itself through necessity. Without Young's playmaking, they've become a defensive machine, 7th in the league in defensive rating, and they've learned to win ugly. The attack now runs through Jalen Johnson, the 20-point-per-game forward who plays like a point guard trapped in a power body. He rebounds, initiates, defends, and steadies a lineup built on grit more than flash. Across from him, Utah's story is darker. Walker Kessler is out with a shoulder injury. Georges Niang, Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and Taylor Hendricks are also gone. The entire frontcourt rotation has vanished. Their one bright light, Lauri Markkanen, fights back spasms and may not play at all. Without him, the Jazz lose not just their scorer, but their structure. They still rebound well, 4th in offensive boards, but that number is a ghost stat, built by players now in street clothes. For Atlanta, the game plan is elemental. Attack the rim until the defense breaks. Utah's 120-rated defense already allows opponents to shoot over 50%, and now there's no rim protector left to slow penetration. Expect Quinn Snyder to run constant drives through Johnson and Dyson Daniels, forcing mismatches against a smaller, slower Jazz lineup. For Utah, survival depends on shot-making and crowd noise. Their pace sits near league average, but efficiency plummets under pressure. If Markkanen can't go, they'll be relying on rookie minutes and second-unit improvisation to keep the score respectable. Even on tired legs, Atlanta's defense should dictate the flow. Expect a grind rather than a shootout, with both teams running long possessions and the total falling short of 233. And today's AI pick is Hawks minus 1.5. Defense travels. Fatigue fades. Structure wins. Will we cash or will we burn? On to the recap with Lilith.
3 games, 3 wagers. 3 burns or blessings beneath November light. First, Toronto versus Cleveland. The Cavaliers came home favored by 7, but fatigue whispered louder than the crowd. Toronto was rested, balanced, and whole. Cleveland leaned on tired legs and empty depth. The AI saw through the hype and chose discipline. Raptors plus 7 then, Phoenix versus Indiana. A mismatch more than a matchup. The Pacers arrived broken. Halliburton, Mathurin, Toppin, all gone. The Suns were healthy, confident, and efficient. The call was simple. Suns minus 5. Finally, Atlanta versus Utah. The Hawks, without Trae Young, but redefined by defense the Jazz, missing their entire front court. Even on the second night of a road back-to-back, Atlanta's structure held while Utah's depth collapsed. The edge belonged to the disciplined. Hawks, minus 1.5. 3 plays, 3 stories, rest over fatigue, health over chaos, structure over noise. Raptors plus 7, Suns minus 5, Hawks minus 1.5. Will we cash or will we burn? And in the old tongue, Lilith's whisper, Das Feuer vergisst nicht, wer es angezündet hat. The fire never forgets who lit it.